Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a story time on the 3 worst signings that I've had. Now keep in mind, these aren't like horrible horror stories of signings that I've had. They're just different or funny. A lot of my students talk about, oh, aren't you scared to go into different people's houses? Like, what happens if something happens to you? And even though I'm here to tell you that I don't really think anything bad's gonna happen to you, these people have given their social security, they've given them their work, they've given them their house, their IDs. They are trapped. These people are not gonna do anything to you unless they really wanna get caught. But on the other hand, there are some not very crazy stories, but crazy enough for me to give you a little spectacle of some of the 3 that I had that just didn't go swimmingly. The first one, I messed up. So I had a last minute signing and it was down the street and it was raining. I had to print my paperwork out in a hurry and get to their house, and they were like saying, hey, we got your phone number, we're just wondering where you're at, we kind of want to get this done now. So I was in a rush, shouldn't have taken it since I was in a rush, but it was paying super well. Give me directions and I pull up into their driveway and there is a huge hole in their driveway, a deep hole. I get out of my car and I bang my folder with all of their paperwork on the side of my door, and it all flips out onto the ground into the puddle that was filled with rainwater. Every single document was soaked. It was at the last minute, it was at 8 p.m. at nighttime, it was raining, everything was ruined. I literally sat there and stood on their porch thinking, should I go home? Should I cancel? And I looked like an idiot. Honestly, I looked like an idiot. So I go in and I try to separate the ones that are signable. I go through them. Thankfully, the ones that really needed to be signed were not as ruined. It could be dried out and a little stiff, but it was still legally binding. I also mixed up their copy with mine because it flipped out. I got it done, I sent it in, and nobody ever contacted me saying that anything was bad or that it couldn't go through, but there was dirt on it. It was not a good one. And a lot of the things were smeared, but thankfully things that were smeared were not the things that they had to sign. So maybe God was looking out for me on that signing, but that was literally one of the worst ones. That was my fault. One of the worst signings, embarrassing. And I'm still working with that company too. The second signing is more of a funny one for me. If you're an anxious person, it's something that you wouldn't find funny. You may find it alarming and not know what to do in the situation, but I've been doing it so long that I literally just looked up at him and was in my mind laughing. So it's, again, a nighttime signing. You know, it's the nighttime signings that are usually the ones that can go a little haywire. So I call them, we set it up. The lenders hadn't gotten the paper to me in time, so that means that they did not send it to the customer or the client in time, so they could not go over their own paperwork. So they were blindsided when this happened. I get there and I walk in, the guy is in his uniform, and apparently that they had been dragging the signing out because they weren't getting the paperwork correct, and the guy was leaving in 2 days to be on deployment. He was gonna be gone for a solid year. They had to get it done today, which is why they weren't canceling it, and it was at the last second at nighttime. So I get there, I sit on the floor because their kids are at the dining room table. They're eating, so the mom wanted to sit in the living room, but the coffee table was literally so close to the floor and the chairs were very high that even if you like bent down to sign, it would be really weird. So I was like, I'm just gonna sit on the floor. It's okay, it's cool with me. Mom did the same thing. Dad sat in the chair next to mom. They were across from me. I go through their paperwork. There is so much directions. I really don't like it when signing companies have so many papers on directing me on how to do it. I just wish that they had it done well enough so that we didn't have so many directions, but who cares? I get through the directions and we're signing away. He's kind of a little bit peeved. It's at nighttime, but he's relieved that we're signing now. I get to the paper talking about the money. And if you guys know and you've taken my class before, the closing disclosure tells you how much someone's gonna pay and who is paying. And apparently this guy was told something different. So I do as I do all the time and I tell him, okay, sir, you owe $500. He flips his shit. He is standing up now. Mind you, I'm sitting down on the floor with his wife from across from me. He stands up and he starts yelling and pointing at me. And he's more mad at the signing company, not me. I never take it personal anymore. There are some people that I do take it personal with, but this wasn't one of those situations. He was flipping out, yelling about how he was told that he didn't have to pay any money. Why now all of a sudden does he have to pay money? He feels like he's being taken advantage of. I mean, he is yelling. Mom's not saying anything. Kids are upstairs now. And I'm just like looking up at him like, he's not letting me get any words in. And I'm saying, I'm sorry they didn't tell you this beforehand. They weren't able to get you the paperwork beforehand, but my paper says that you owe money, so I have to collect it unless you don't want to do it. So I'm like, maybe you should call your lender. The lender is not picking up, which is fueling his anger even more. He literally exits and goes to the other room and sits down and cools off. Like, that's how mad he was. And I'm just sitting on the floor looking at his wife like, I'm sorry that they didn't prepare you for this. And I finally call the middleman. I get in contact with the middleman and she was like, okay, put him on the phone. And I tell him, hey, I have her on the phone. I think you want to talk to her. He starts yelling at her. I'm not taking anything personal. Once someone starts flipping out, I'm like, you need to save your energy for the lender. I can't help you. I'm just here to let you sign. So finally they get him under control and he just go ahead and he signs it. They're just so annoyed at this point. They wanted to get it over with. It was a super good interest rate. I don't think they wanted to let it up, and they have been doing this for so long. So that was one of my favorite stories to tell some of my students, is because it was my first ever like big blow up with a client. All right, next story is one that I get a lot of questions about from female students. They're kind of worried about going into people's houses, especially when it's just men there, and I totally understand that. And this is one I've kept secret for a while just because it shouldn't have happened. Get to the person's house, and I always make conversation if people want to talk and stuff. Lovely conversation, but it does make the signing go by a little bit slower. And he was like my last signing for the day or something. So it was fine, regular conversation. He did flirt with me a little bit though. It wasn't like obvious, but if you're a girl, you know when someone's flirting with you. And I was like, in my head, I was like, God, please don't ask me out. I hate when people like ask me out on the spot like that. But he didn't. He kept it, I guess, professional-ish and friendship type-ish. So my spidey senses were tingling. My intuition was tingling that he was attracted to me and that he was trying to flirt with me, but he wasn't taking it there. That is as far as it has ever gotten. I get a phone call from the lender saying, hey, you're missing papers in your paperwork. And I'm like, I printed out everything that you gave me. Every single link that was given to me, I printed it out. They tried to make it sound like it was my fault, but they ended up sending me the other half of the package, and I had to go back and get it signed. Yes, they paid more because of it, but it's still an inconvenience because I was going on vacation that day. I specifically remember I could have said no. I could have said no to going back to the signing, but it's money. And I'm going on vacation. So I literally have my vacation outfit on. I have my bags packed in my car, and I'm like, okay, I already have to go this way anyway to get onto the interstate for the vacation, so I can just stop by, do the signing, send the paperwork off, and go. It's not that big of a deal. It's good money for the 3 extra signatures I had to get. And we were literally gonna do it at the front door. That's what I told him. I called him, I was like, look, they forgot to put 3 pieces in your paperwork, 3 signatures, you're done. It'll be like 5 minutes and we're out. How I knew it was gonna be trouble was when he texted me after I called him to say, hey, sorry, we have to do an extra piece of paper. He texted me saying, you didn't have to make up a story to come see me again. And I was like, oh, fuck. I knew that text message came in. And he was like, I'm just kidding. Thanks for letting me know. And then he didn't text. I didn't text him. He didn't text me. I knew I was coming to go do that signing and get the hell out of there. Show up on this guy's porch. He does his signing on the porch real quick as I'm checking over the paperwork to just make sure we have everything good to go because I didn't want to come back. I see him do this. And as a girl, you know that look. I mean, he made it obvious. He made it obvious while my head was down. I'm looking at him in my peripheral vision. I'm not stupid. He gives me a good, deep look over. Then he says, "Hey, you're really attractive. Do you want to go out to dinner with me?" And I said, "No, I'm taken. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go now." And he says, "Well, okay, well, fine. Well, if you're taken, if he doesn't act right, then you know where I'm at." And I'm like, let me give you guys a picture of what this guy looks like. He's around his 50s. He has a very round belly, and he dresses like a dad. This is what he looks like. So there's definitely a creepy vibe if you have someone that isn't supposed to be being unprofessional with you. I get out of there. Thank you so much for signing. And I leave. That's not where it ends though. Get in my car, laugh out loud in my car, because how could you not? So I'm putting in the address for the UPS, and I see my phone on a text message, and it reads, not verbatim because I don't have the text message anymore, but I can definitely give you a gist because it's something you don't not remember. It said, "Dude, my notary had to come back over. She was looking," I'm gonna say she was looking good. Hot damn what I would do to her. I don't know if he purposely sent it to me or was he literally trying to send it to his friend because he did not follow up with another text message. I literally yelled in my car. I think it was a little bit more vulgar than that, but that was literally the gist of what it said. The part as well. This one was a little while ago and I will never ever forget it. He never messaged me back, so I don't think it was meant for me because the way it sounded like he was supposed to send it to his friend. My phone number was still up on the screen when he was typing it, and maybe he got his mixed up or something, but it was sent to me. Never heard a follow-up after that, and of course I did not reply to it. As a woman, people will be attracted to you. This goes for any job in the world. You will have people like that in your own 9-to-5 job, my job. As a woman, you can't get around it. So you will even have your spidey sense to say that someone may be attracted to you at the table. But for the most part, people are nice, people are respectful. I have never gotten a guy like that ever again at the signing table. God, please hope not anymore. But it was a good one. This was a good story to tell you. I do have a few other good stories to tell, but I thought I would just leave it at 3 today. Keep it a very short video. But if you guys are a signing agent, male and female, because I really feel like when things hit the fan, you will get different reactions if you're a male signing agent versus a female signing agent. So please let me know down below, have you guys ever had a crazy signing, a signing that went awfully wrong, or something funny? But I've been holding these in, but I thought this would be a good video. So if you guys want to take my notary one-on-one class with me to know how to start getting $1,000 for like 5 hours of work, 8 hours of work, then go ahead and email me down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Subscribe and give it a like.